Guys, welcome back to Park It. I've got an MT-09 here where the gentleman has got limited use of his left leg, which unfortunately is still there. Well, that's not unfortunate, but I mean, it's still there, but unfortunately it's not very good. So gear changes would be a bit of a nightmare for him. And the guys on the shop floor have devised a mounting system, knocked it out of the park really, able to use a Translogic Powershifter to get this chap back on the road. So let's have a look. There we go. We've got the Powershifter mounted off the rear set there, going direct to the gear linkage. You can see there we've got the Quickshifter and Autoblipper module, and we've got his control buttons there, so to engage first and then to run up the box and then to come back down the box. Real good working solution for this gentleman's problems. So I've spent a few hours on the dyno trying to get some decent settings on the shifter and the blipper, because obviously it's working in a very different way to your normal foot actuation. I think I'm pretty much there. So I'm going to get out and test ride the bike, and hopefully the next thing we'll see in a second is an interview with Michael himself, just to go through the processes that it took to be able to secure funding to have this adaption done and to get him back on the road. Also to see what he thinks of the adaption and how he gets on with it in the real world. So it's going to be quite interesting. We'll talk about disabled funding, the sort of adaptions we've done in the past, and hopefully it will give a little bit of insight to any disabled riders out there that want to get back on the road but just don't see a way through it. I mean, there are solutions. It doesn't have to be a trike, it can still be a bike. Mike, and he's the gentleman who owns the MT-09 that you've just seen us demonstrating the adaption on. He took delivery of the bike about a week ago and kindly agreed to pop in to have a little chat with everybody out there just about how it's been going with the adaption on the bike, but more also just to talk about how he went about funding the adaption, because what a lot of people don't realise is there are alternative solutions out there. These sort of adaptions don't need to be paid 100% out of your pocket. There are various grants that can be applied for. Obviously it's not guaranteed, but it can lessen the burden on people financially. So as you can see from the previous element, we put a Translogic Powershifter on the MT-09, coupled with a Woolich race tools to enable the bike to have a Quickshifter and an Autoblipper. Granted, you know, that element of it isn't always necessary, but my thoughts and feelings on those kind of things are it lessens the brain power, because you're having to do more anyway. I mean, we're used to changing gear, for instance, with our foot, and to be going down the road thinking, hold on a second, clutch in, button on the left, clutch out, concentrate on that, doesn't allow you to concentrate on the road ahead. So be able to literally just push a button for up and push a button for down, personally, I think lessens the burden. And a chat with you earlier, Michael, was saying that you've already made a few, not mistakes, but a few sort of missed gears, not thinking about it, which are kind of compounds that, is if you don't even remember to be hitting a button, let alone everything else. I mean,
it's because, well, depending on how long you've been riding, you're always used to that motion up and down, and it's just automatic with your brain and everything else, and you don't even look down when you change your gear when you're riding normal. But then from the accident, brain signals they're not aligned yet, they probably won't be, but it's trying to get that balance of, right, coming up, right, clutch, right, where's the button, oh, then you're on brakes because either you're coming up to traffic or you're coming up to a corner, you don't want to overshoot the corner. If you've just got your thumb just over that button, bing, 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 up and down gears, don't have to think about it.
Yeah, so
it's
it just, I suppose,
a massive load off.
it's easier.
A load,
yeah, you know, I suppose it's
Yeah.
easy. It's like Autoblippers on the track. I've only really recently personally got one for my bike. I had one on a previous bike, but only for a little period of time. And a lot of people talk about it just being, oh, it's just a gimmick. It's something flashy. You don't really need it. But boy, does it take away the ever brain power. It just makes riding it easier. And that's the point.
Yes.
These are tools that are being given to us.
Oh God,
just to make things easy. And if we're not thinking about those elements on the bike, means we're thinking about the road ahead or the track ahead or whatever it may be. But the point is your concentration's out there 100% rather than thinking about a process.
That's it. It just takes a massive burden off you that you've got to think instead of riding.
Yeah.
That's the difference. But from the other day, it was like not being on a bike for, what was it now, 14 months?
Yeah.
Just to get on it, and you were just telling me, this is how you do it. Right, off we go. Couple of times where it's been, coming up to, like, just coming to end at road, coming to junction. Because I've already gone back into how I used to be, my foot is trying to do something. You can feel my foot twitching, but it's not moving.
Trying to paddle for the imaginary gear lever.
And there's nothing there. It's like, I got this. And it's like, it's so much better, so much easier to ride, less stress.
Yeah, that's the key, I think.
It's the stress about it all.
It's just, you don't have to think about certain
Yeah.
elements. You'll see it actually towards the end of this. We took a video of Mike coming back, whose ultimate reaction was that it was shit, and you'll see that, which I hope he was fucking kidding. But also the emotion, because realistically, first time he rode a bike was 40 months after his accident. So it's always going to be an emotional time, and again, that's another element of it. So many people will be telling you that you won't be able to do things anymore. I mean, Mike will explain, but he's got both his pins, but one of them is just fucked up, putting it bluntly. A lot of damage. So there's no point beating around the bush, is it? It's fucked up.
It's proper fault.
So from that point of view, ankle articulation and all of that is a massive effort. So, you know, in normal circumstances, yes, that would be a bind. But sort of adaptions like this prove that it's not. And, you know, leg adaptation for us, especially these side, probably one of the simplest adaptions we do. Arm adaptions get a lot more complicated, but it's all achievable. The main thing is contrary to pictures that you may see, you haven't got to ride a trike. You know, you can still, we were joking about this earlier, bikes are still accessible. There's just ways and means. I mean, we know paraplegics that use bikes. We know people with the use of only the right arm or the left arm of the right bike. So, you know, where there's a will, there's a way. It's not always an easy way, but it can certainly be done. And I mean, one of the biggest things, I suppose, putting it bluntly, is cost, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
it is the price when it's not cheap.
No, that's
it's not cheap, but it's a tool you will need.
Yeah, and that's.
If
I think
you're
that's
going
the bad
to,
thing, is that it's cost for people as well.
Yeah, when you get told that, right, you can't work again, you can't go back to your job, and then you've just had 14 months off of work, you've had to go on to benefits because of it, because you've got no form of income, and then you want to, right, I'm getting to roughly about that point where I need to go back out on a bike and go, right, oh shit, money.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. It's you don't buy cheap.
No, and to be fair, there's not cheap systems out there.
No.
I mean, there's mid-range systems and top-end systems. Admittedly, we went for one of the more expensive units, but as you can see by the install, the difference between the type of unit we've used and some of the others on the market, not knocking them, it's packaging. It's a much smaller, compact unit. So we find we can get them in different places on the bike, just to make the installations that much more. Well, again, I don't use the word easier, but easier. You know, I haven't got to think about a unit that long and that wide
when it's only this
Yeah,
big.
which on some bikes, packaging.
Yeah,
They're brilliant, they're great things, but you need the space for them.
yeah.
I mean, some of the units need a significant amount of throw before they activate, and
Yeah.
that's always not possible. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
the cost is the big thing.
The cost is a big thing, but on the best bit about it, National Association for Bikers with Disabilities.
Yes. Okay, so we'll talk
Yeah.
about them then. Yeah, the NABD.
Yeah.
I fucking always get confused.
Yeah.
They're a charity out there supporting disabled bikers, the National Association of Bikers with Disability. There's
Yeah.
kind of the clues in the name there. They offer grants.
They do offer grants, so you can go on their forums groups, I still call it forums, and you can apply for a grant. You fill it out, you can email them and they'll get back to you. I was quite shocked because I was thinking a couple of weeks, couple of months. No, as soon as I sent that email to give me a ring, 10 minutes I think it took them.
Oh, really?
About 10 minutes. Hello? You know what? Oh God, I wasn't expecting you ringing this quick, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
A bit of a shock. And they said, yep, you can apply for the grant. So you put in, and then right at the very bottom there's a box and it says what you need.
Yeah.
So you fill it out, whatever disability you've got. So I put in left leg completely fucked, but in different words. Non-use, does not work. It's visually, it is there. Use-wise, you've got nothing.
Yeah.
And then within, oh God, I think it was 2-3 weeks, I think it took them. Got it back, granted, accepted. So luckily they have paid about, I think it's about 75% of it.
Yeah.
And I've had to fund the rest. But even then, from the original bill down to you've got X amount left to pay, you just go, oh, that's just...
Takes the weight off the
Yeah.
mind, I suppose.
Yeah, big time.
I don't know. It's tricky, isn't it, talking about these sort of subjects, but ultimately as well, getting riding, I know from my point of view, massive mental health thing.
Oh, big
Because
time.
the change to suddenly saying you cannot do this or you're not in a physical position to do this, sort of eats away at you because it's something you've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
I think getting going again is just a massive boost to the mental health because it kind of makes, I hate to use the word normal, but it does bring sort of normality back into it.
Yeah.
And so when you're thinking, you know, can I afford to do this? No, I fucking can't. And then, but sitting at home feeling shit, working yourself up into a frenzy about not being able to move around, all kinds of things. I mean, the mental health side of things, that is a whole new video, a whole new ball game.
Yeah.
Far from specialists in this. All I would say is actually if you are disabled and you are watching this video and thinking about stuff, is a lot of people shun the idea of speaking to others in the profession about it. I was one of them. But I took advice off others after having a bit of a breakdown and ultimately ended up in years of counselling. Because, you know, you've lost something. It might be a physical element, it might be the ability to do something, but it's about grieving, it's about understanding. I wouldn't actually turn anybody away from that. So if you're watching this and you've ever thought, you know, it's just a load of mumbo jumbo hocus pocus crap that people just talk about and I'm okay with my feelings, I will say I'm not 100% sure on that, and it's well worth speaking to people.
100%.
But getting out and doing stuff that you used to do, I think, is one of the biggest healers as well, because it brings an element of normality back into it.
Yeah.
The thing is with the National Association is, even from our point of view as a recognised installer, I don't see much advertising out there.
I don't see hardly anything about them. It's a shame because they do it for a great cause.
Yeah, and the fact that there doesn't seem to be a lot of promotion, and I'm not saying it's from their point of view, but I just think generally within the biker community.
Yeah.
I know that they used to rely a lot on rallies and
rallies.
shows, but a lot of these shows have fallen by the wayside, especially since the
Yes.
dreaded COVID,
Yeah.
you know, and I know that impacted their finances for a while. And if I recall
Yeah.
seeing some mailers about them having to put grants on hold.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know, I don't see anything in sort of mainstream media. We've got
No.
piles of magazines here because that costs money, and for small charities, they don't have the funding to do that. So a lot of it is by word of mouth, which is reason really for putting this out there.
Yeah.
I myself received a NABD grant many years ago to help me with my motorbike and using some dual controls and things like that, which enabled me to get riding again. And since, you know, we've come up with alternative ways of doing stuff. So fortunately, I haven't been able to call on them again. But initially, I did, and it helped me something significantly. And we've tried our best to raise some money over the years. But to be fair, the business gets in the way, and I don't mean it in a negative way, but you're trying to focus on that element of your life and whatnot, and not doing the other things. So, you know, really, we need to all pay a little bit more attention to trying to do some fundraising.
I think fundraising that's the key.
Indeed.
There needs to be more. I know quite a few years ago they did go to NEC at Birmingham for Motorcycle Live.
Oh, shit, the cost of that.
The cost of it is ridiculous.
Staggering. You know, I
ridiculous
don't know if it's
on
any
the
different for
price.
charities, but you know,
It's
we made inquiries to have this business there, and it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the sort of thing. No, not a chance, chief. And it's
Yeah.
a shame that organisations like that couldn't donate a tiny bit of space for those sort of charities.
Yeah. I've been, and there's been slots where it's like they don't need a lot of space. Just put them there, put them near the door as you walk in. Everybody's got a couple of quid on them.
Yeah.
Chuck it in a bucket.
Yeah.
£5, chuck it in a bucket. I think from what I can tell is, apart from the rallies and a few other things they do, they just rely on the people's memberships for the funding, which it's not a lot of money to help every disabled person who wants to get back on a bike.
No.
There needs to be more. It needs to get put out there more. I wish it was, because I got told, believe it or not, through another biker when I was up at the hospital about talking about it, and he's had all his bike done, and then he recommended it to me, and then I got in touch with them, and then it was like, all right, looking for their local authorised person to do all the work, flicking through, and I was like, Parking Racing. I live right corner.
Yeah.
So I think it was the next day I come down and come and spoke to you about it, and then it was like brilliant. Couple of about a week or 2 weeks, about a week, wasn't it?
Yeah, there
A week or two. Got back on road now, and it's just still emotional being on bike after so long. It's still emotional. It's like back to riding, and it's like, oh, I'm loving this again. And then seeing other bikers, and you get a little nod to it, and it's like, I've missed that.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you? I don't think we did. Did I ever tell you about my first time back riding the bike, when that was?
No.
So it was. It's funny how again everything aligns. It was an organised amputee only track day at Donington Park.
Right.
So and I think it just fell almost like near perfectly. And I heard through it from my prosthetist. So I lost my leg around about a year-ish after the initial injury, and it was something like 2.5 months after the actual amputation. So that gave me the target. But yeah, my first time back out was. See, you can't even talk about it. Sometimes. Was on obviously a dedicated amputee day.
Yeah.
With my prosthetist there. So that was also a thing, because obviously we've been working closely together to try and get prosthesis that worked, and a load of other people that have been there to try and guide me on how to fix a leg to a bike, like this. But yeah, that was the first time ever, and I'll tell you what, that was a day.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I can remember that pretty vividly, if I'm honest. But
that'll stick with the rest of your life.
It does.
That's a
but that's it. It's those first moments though that when you get back out on it, that you think, shit, I missed this.
Yeah.
And I was going to give it all up. That was it. That was it. You know, I was going to give it up because the family were like, oh, this, that, bikes, and that, all that kind of stuff.
I nearly gave it up. Nearly gave it up. It were the point of so many surgeries in a little time. Still not 100%. Still got further surgeries in the future. Don't know when. And then when you're surgeon and then the specialist and everything else go, unfortunately I don't think you're going to be able to ride again, never mind walk. It's like, I'm already down, do you want to kick me down anymore?
But that gives you the drive though sometimes, doesn't it? It puts that fire in the belly that says, well, hold on a sec, you don't get to tell me what I'm going to do.
Exactly. That night I was laid in hospital bed and I was like, do you know what, I wrote out the ad for my bike, everything, all the bike gear, all the tools, everything you could possibly think bike-wise that I own, I wrote the ad out and put it up on eBay. And all I had to do was press.
It's funny, isn't it?
Post.
I had a sort of similar thing. I say similar. It's like, you know, I got not pressure, but felt like pressure from my family, pressure from my girlfriend, who turned out to be my wife. To do it all. And that was it. I was selling everything, and I sold everything. Literally sold everything along the way. And the only thing that was left was the bike, right? And I don't know if she'll ever regret this, probably comment. I think the words were, well, I guess track days wouldn't be so bad. And that was it. That was literally it. I'm like, okay, I've got that one. So I took the engine out, which was a race-tuned engine, stuck a stock motor back in it, sold the race engine. I'd sold all my tyre warmer stands, you name it, anything to do with racing. I had a bike, and that was that. And I thought, that's it. I'd started that process. It was going. Whether or not years later, you never know, you'd have taken it up again. But when circumstances change, but at that moment, I thought, it was just a hook. It was just that little bit where she said, mate, you know, and you're like, whoop, I'll have that.
It were mainly like pressure from family as well. It was like, you've been lucky with how the accident happened and the speed it happened. You're lucky. Surgeon said I was lucky. If I didn't wear a certain helmet that I did, I wouldn't be here right now. It'd be a whole different story. And then I don't want to go back on a bike. And then the girlfriend, don't want to go back on a bike. No. But if you don't go back on a bike, fine. But if you do, I'll be there. So it's like struggling what to think and what to do at the time. Our easiest option is what will please everybody, sell everything, we'll back on. But the best thing was, I ended up opening, if I got a phone was smashed, got a new phone, and I looked on the camera, and I was like, my other bike, which is now what you guys have sorted, I could see it on the CCTV in the garage.
And that was like, it, and you thought, shit, I can't do this.
You're not going. And that phone went down, and we're like, right. And then they come in and says, right, you got probably another operation. It was like, for fuck's sake, this is number 6. What's happening after that? Well, if it all goes good, brilliant. Surgically wise, yes, I've sorted my leg. My day-to-day life fucked anyway. But it was the first time when I got a pair of boots on, I was like,
done.
Right, fucking watch this.
That's it. With my old, what was left with it, I never got a pair of race bikes on. No, well, I don't think I'd have got a pair of boots on. I used to have to cut the backs out and even normal shoes. The free flap that was used to cover the hole was fucking, I mean, it was enormous. It was like a decent fillet, just holding on to it. But again, they're bits that I think people don't see. We talk about adapting bikes, but clothing's got to be part of it, isn't it?
Big time.
You know what I mean? It's
God. Took me 3 months to find a set of boots.
Really? Shit.
Because I haven't got no ankle movement up or down, it's just solid. It's like, I can't put even like a pair of walking boots on. Because I can't go in at that angle.
I fucking hate it. It's the bane of my life. I don't go to shoe shops anymore.
I don't.
I have them ordered at home.
Yeah.
And then I go through it all and then send them back.
The only place I did go was a sports bike shop at Boston.
Was it? Yeah.
And I was like looking at all boots. I was like, I'll have them all. And I'll just try it.
Yes.
Stacks of boots, and then finally we found a pair of Cities.
Yeah.
Which open from the front.
They're the ones I've got.
So these are the ones that I'm wearing now.
Yeah.
And it's just, right, I've just got to sort my toes out because my toes still curl under.
Yeah.
Sorted them out, foot on, right, ratchet system, so you can't even sneak out anymore because you can hear ratchet system. You're like, oh God, I've got to bring you with me and all.
Yeah. Nah.
But it's just like that, boots,
Yeah.
clothes even now, because I think it's just over an inch shorter on my left leg. It's like, right now I've got to find the right height. It's a nightmare.
It's all those little bits that nobody sees.
Yeah, it's them little bits. Even clothes, just day-to-day clothes.
Yeah.
You've got to cut about just over an inch off one side so the other side doesn't drag on floor.
So I just don't think about that sort of stuff, do you?
No, I didn't think. And even like when I had the cage on.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah, it's them things what people don't see.
Yeah, I've got a slightly older version of those.
Yeah, these are the newer Cities. They are fantastic.
Yeah.
I do miss my winter boots. I'm not gonna lie.
No, they're riding winter.
But it was like my goal was from all of it. It was like, right, now I can get back on a bike. I want to do the last Christmas tour run for charity in Southwell. That's the last one.
Yeah.
I was like, that's my goal. And then you guys have just pulled through immense.
Yeah.
Got the bike sorted, and it's like, right, no one can stop me now.
Yeah.
Kick me even more if you want. Nah, I've jumped the hardest bit.
Yeah. It's a heck of a story, and it's a story we can talk about. To be fair, probably for hours.
We've done it for hours.
You know,
before.
this is Mike's story is just one of many. Like I say, we've done several of these adaptions over the time. Every person's got a story. I've got a story. The key really is to help people get back on the road, and that's another reason for putting this out there is to say, you know, if you're organising an event next year around bikes, perhaps you might want to consider the National Association of Bikes with Disability as your beneficiary.
Even if you can ring them up and see if they could get somebody from there with a bike with adaptions down to that event.
Yeah.
There's loads of people.
Yeah. I mean, there is if you're watching this and have certain injuries, I know an organisation that we adapted a bike for, it's the Brachial Plexus Society or Brachial Plexus Injury Society. They do have a bike that the controls can be swapped left to right within a relatively short period of time that I know they do demonstrations on, just to show people that you can get on, and these are the sort of adaptions that you can use. And it's on a Royal Enfield, a little 350, so it's a nice steady bike, and I'll put a link to that in the description section, so do follow that and go through, because that's a great way of somebody sort of getting a bit of a try before you buy, if you do have an injury to the arms. It's obviously, you haven't got the use of one of them, so that's worth looking at. But definitely from a funding point of view, I'll just harken back to that, because I want people to realise that there is funding options out there, but more to the point, it's not an infinite pot of pulling out. We as a community, put the teeth back in, need to sort of do stuff to raise awareness to get that money flowing back the other way. I'll admit being guilty at not supporting that enough ourselves, and maybe we need to look at stuff here at our shop to be able to maybe do some events next year that a contribution can go towards that charitable side of things. But that's food for thought. But the main thing is I wanted to introduce you to Mike. He wanted to sort of let us show you guys his adapted bike and really how he went about being able to get to that position, which I think it's been a journey. But I'm happy that it's 14 months. The guys in the workshop who put that together did a grand job. Translogic have produced a fantastic unit.
Oh God,
along with some of the other brands out there, Powershifter, Electronic, things like that. different products for different uses.
Yeah, yeah.
Yours, we went with the Translogic.
Yeah, it's worked brilliantly.
And the Woolich Racing shifter and blipper system to make things a lot easier.
Oh God, so much easier. Glad to be back out on 2 wheels.
And it was quite emotional. We'll
very emotional.
Let's show you that now. But thanks for taking the time to watch this. Anything you'd like to finish off, Mike?
Thank you for watching, and anything needs doing, come and see this man.
No, well, it's not just me, there's a team of us here, to be fair.
Come and see them all.
But yeah,
We welcome you with
thanks,
open
man.
arms.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
No, pleasure.
Fucking shit.
Do I need to delete the video? You sure?
Yeah.
So it's not shit.
Fucking wank.
How's it feel to ride again after 14 months? Forget the adaption, just how's it feel to ride again?
More emotions.
There you go.
More emotions.
Yeah. Brings it all back.